Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. I love sharing these conversations with you. We happen to be at a lovely spot in Naguru, just along in Tindatu Road. It's called La Casita Restaurant and Lounge, a really green spot with great food, so do check it out when you can. My guest today is someone I have known for a while. We had a chat recently and we had so much to say, we could not cover everything. So I invited her to join me on Crystal One-on-One. Now, she is a businesswoman, an entrepreneur. She is the CEO and founder of Her Working Woman and so many other things. I do have Dr. NatalieyBitature joining me on the show. Hello.
Hello, Crystal.
Hello again. How are you?
Back. Nice to see you again so soon.
I know, right? It's nice to see you. How has February been in your world?
Busy.
Busy?
Yeah, busy as usual.
As usual, what you're used to.
Yeah, February is a big month when you work in hospitality because of Valentine's Day.
Exactly. Because we were recently talking to someone who's in the flower business and she was saying it's her busiest time of the year. As in all the year, she makes the most money on Valentine's Day. I'm like,
Valentine's is completely out of control, if I'm honest. Every year I feel like everyone is upping.
So you feel like we have gone a bit crazy in Uganda?
We've gone completely crazy in Uganda.
Okay.
We've taken it too far.
You travel a lot. So have you seen the kind of, I don't know, can I call it hysterical? Some people say that really, Crystal, but...
No, it's hysterical in Uganda, honest to God. It's
really?
So out of hand. Like, I was looking at our backdrops that we did, and Skies and Protea did them for the whole month of Valentine's, and people enjoyed. I was very proud of the team. They were really great backdrops. People took so many photos.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you see all the competition as well. The other hotels, the other restaurants. On Valentine's Day itself, I went to a bunch of different places. It's insane. So I think because of Instagram or Snapchat, people want the whole drama and the decor.
Is it also maybe as Ugandans we love love? Do we love love?
I don't know. I think everywhere is sold out. That one I've noticed consistently. Since Skies opened, I've been working at Valentine's. And I remember working at the gate. People will be showing up at 10 p.m. Please give me a table. I had no booking. I'm like, you didn't know it was Valentine's? But everywhere sells out, which is something I feel like I would not have expected from the Ugandan market. So maybe we do love because people take it seriously. Even when I looked at it this year, the prices some places are charging, the packages they put together, they're putting so much effort.
Yes.
And you still see the ones who are last minute who can't get flowers on the day, who are sitting in the corner table that you could see was not really a table, they've just added for you. Because people really love to celebrate Valentine's and everyone's dressed up and with all the decor and the lights.
Even when you just go by all the malls and all the shops,
it's like Christmas.
Red and black, everything.
Completely. I think for all businesses, it's like a season. You have to have your Valentine's promo. I think in telecom, we also had Valentine's promos for phones.
Yes.
Like you have to just get on with it.
Yeah, you have to get on board with it. And being in his hospitality, like you said, I mean, you've seen the trend with Valentine's. What else have you seen that has like popped up in the hospitality industry that wasn't there like a few years ago that now is Ugandans are really getting on board with?
I think we have this weird concept of brunch.
Okay.
So if you live in other countries and someone invites you to brunch, as a Ugandan, I'll show up at like 11 and I'm a little bit late, but then it's like relaxed. In Uganda, brunch is like midday to like 6. So you have to be careful when you invite people to brunch.
Yes.
But it's become so popular, this like day drinking with DJs. And you can see different bars, different organizations, different brands sponsor the brunch. And it's like a fun vibe. And it's usually like on a Saturday or a Sunday. So people have time. And it's quite a wide demographic. So it's something that we look at. Yeah, in our like debrief meetings, we're like, who was attending this brunch? Is it the fashion people? Is it the young people? Is it the slay queens? Is it the older gentlemen? But it's such an interesting mix of customers and they all really enjoy the brunch. So I think it's something that's really grown in our industry. It's supporting the DJs because you see DJs work very hard.
Yes.
I will see a DJ on my Snapchat. I'm like, how are you doing this? You have a daytime job and you're doing 7 different things in the weekend of, 3 days. But I think like brunch parties have really taken off in Uganda and it's become a thing.
You said earlier that, maybe it's because of, Instagram or social media. Do you feel like that's also a very big part of like our social lives and the social scene as well in Uganda?
Oh my gosh, I think it's not just Uganda. The more
Everywhere.
I listen to a lot of podcasts and read studies about this stuff, when you see the challenges that social media have brought into our lives as human beings, because we're not designed for them, but now we've become so addicted to them. So of course the worst side is like suicide in children. There's so much awareness now about the harmful effects of social media, but also everything has had to become Instagrammable. It's about the photo moment, so people are not as present. So like now as a business, you have to make sure you have the vibe. Otherwise, they don't want to be there.
So there's a lot of pressure on you as a business, right?
It needs to look like it's a good time, more than I think if it's actually a good time. You know, people who take photos of the food before they eat it. Like, how about you first decide if you like the food?
Does it really taste good?
No, they first have to show they were at the place and they had the food. So I think it's changing a lot of our cultural norms. Yesterday I was listening to a podcast about how smartphones are ruining people's sex lives all over the world. Because if you're on your phone in bed, you're reading emails, you're seeing work things, your mind is now away and elsewhere, and you're not present with the person that you're at, and it can completely throw you off, and we don't realize that we're doing it.
That's actually true. I mean, a lot of people talked about, the lockdown and how the lines between work and home became blurred. And even though we've passed that and offices have opened and people have gone back into the office, there's still so many people who are comfortable bringing work home and working until midnight. But then where's that disconnect?
Exactly, which is not the norm. In that same podcast, she said we're having less sex as a race this decade than last decade, and even less than the decade before that.
Yes, what's that
and
about?
That's because of technology. They couldn't take work home. You'd have to take physical box files and try and start doing that at work. But now we have emails, phone calls. You can Zoom me at any time, any place. Like there's no separation.
And also, I think now we have entertainment at every possible second, every minute. There's something for you. I mean, because they used to say in certain parts of Uganda, especially the cold parts of Uganda, I mean, the only real entertainment after dark was making babies. And then you'd look at the number of babies in those, and people were having 9, 10 to 12. But now, I mean, you look at areas where people are constantly being entertained or distracted. Actually, the word should be distracted.
It's distraction. I think it's entertainment when you're aware of it, but it's distraction once you're doing it subconsciously. And the social media companies call us users.
Yes.
It's the only other industry other than drugs where you're called a user. You're not a client, you're not a customer, you're a user. Because we all just get addicted and we don't realize how much time we're spending on it.
We're not consumers, we're
We're users, and they're designed to keep us in there. And then they compete with each other who can keep the person longest in their app. Which is kind of sick if you ask me.
This is coming up now.
Side, but these are the side effects that they didn't plan for when they came up with entertainment.
Yeah. It's funny that we're talking about social media, because I was having this conversation with someone else recently, and they are aware that they actually were fighting an addiction. As in, they got to a point where they would fall asleep every night with the phone in their hand, wake up in the middle of the night, first check for like 2 hours, and then it took. They finally said, okay, as in literally they would get like panic attacks if they don't know where their phone is, have they lost their phone? And I'm thinking, how many people actually even begin to realize?
True, but most people are in that. They just
in
don't
there.
Realize it. It takes conscious.
So you have that mini heart attack when you don't know where your phone is?
Not me. I realized this like 2-3 years ago. I was like, it has taken me.
Okay.
It has taken me. And I have to do something. This is when I researched about it. So first I switched off all my notifications. There's no meet social media, message, WhatsApp. No, it will never be. Nothing will ever be. Because you get addicted to that sound and you start getting used to it and anticipating it. And then I also put timer limits on the apps that I know that I use too much. If it's Instagram and Twitter, it tells you your 2 hours of the day are done. It's 11 in the morning. It's for work. I have to check this one thing. You have to also push yourself to be more strict about it, because it's for your own good. It's for your own health and sanity and things. And also it makes you more present.
Your time
when you're with people, be with people. And I think so many of us have lost that ability. You have to be checking your phone. But really, at a 1 hour lunch, what emergency can't wait that 1 hour?
And if it's important, someone will call you.
They will find a way to get through to you. And I think it took a year of getting used to it. But now I feel so much more peaceful. I can leave my phone for a couple of hours, and I'm not
you're fine.
Where's the phone? Which I've noticed many people around me can't do.
Right? It's like every second they have to
check
reach
the phone.
for it.
Or if you leave your phone somewhere, I forgot it at this person's house, or it's in the room, that they will get up and go get the phone. I'm like, I left it upstairs.
Tomorrow,
I'll
the
get
next
it.
day.
Even though you have work things, I'm like, me, I'm not a doctor. It's nothing is an emergency like that. But that addiction to the phone, and I think it takes away present moments. You don't notice certain things if you're always distracting yourself.
Yes.
I know I'm so bad.
You even miss out on certain conversations.
Yeah,
You're the
that you
person
could have
halfway
had.
through, you're like, huh? What did you say?
zoned in and out. It's not, you miss out on the life. This is the life part that we're here to do.
Exactly.
And I feel like I'm someone who's always late, which is something I really struggle with. And you've seen, I work on it, but I'm usually a little bit late.
Yes.
But I never get upset when other people are late. And I feel like in those moments, you can always fill that time with something.
Yes.
But it's not, it's easy if you have your phone, read an article, watch a video, go on TikTok. But you can also just be present.
Yes.
Or like if you're in traffic,
Look
or if you have a
around.
moment, it's not automatically the phone. But I think that also takes like willpower and practice.
That's the thing,
'Cause
because
you
you're
miss life.
talking about the awareness. I mean, it's funny that you said that this generation is having less sex now for that reason. And it makes sense because I have talked to a lot of people about dating and the dating scene now. And so many guys say that a red flag for them is when you're on a date with a girl and the whole time she's checking her phone. Like if you can't give me your attention for just 1 hour and I'm trying to get to know you, I mean,
What are we
then-
doing? I agree. We're now in the economics of attention. That's what everyone is
Yes,
fighting for.
everyone's fighting for
That's
your
what
attention.
is the value in human life now. It's not even, that's how the marketing and the companies have to look at it, because you're fighting on the social media apps, you're fighting in billboards or on radio, or what the person is eating or what car they're driving. All of it is about, did you grab their attention?
Yes.
So the adverts are getting more and more ludicrous, more expensive, more wild, giving people different types of trials, because you need to capture someone's attention. And it's so much harder because you're fighting with all these small addictions they have that they're used to.
I mean, if anything that we're taught from the pandemic and that time, well, not every country had a lockdown, but we did. I mean, if you weren't online then, it was, I mean, businesses closed, people
no way
lost
to
their
manage.
jobs.
Yeah. And it shows you how you have to adapt, because all this we talk about now, it's not going anywhere. So we have to learn how to live with social media and with people fighting for our attention. Because I remember seeing statistics about it. The average person today sees more adverts and things grabbing their attention than someone in the 50s would see in a lifetime. And we see that in one day. So our brains, our bodies are not designed for this much information, constantly fighting for our attention. So I think we have to like be more conscious about it, be more mindful about it. So there are more programs now. I've seen rehabs for people with digital addiction because it's a problem. I've seen adults who have
need that here,
neck
though.
problems that because they're always like this on the phone.
Yes, and children, their spines are literally curving now.
But I think we're not aware about the downsides because we all just got used to the addiction side, the
It's
fun
such a
part.
part of our lifestyle now that we're only beginning. Actually, we were talking about cortisol and all these different things. It's only now that the research is coming up.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this slowly for the last, 5-10 years?
Yes.
And it's just a part of who we are. So it's interesting how you said like a few years ago is when you realized, like, you know, and you started taking the steps to pull back from your time on social media or on the phone or whatever it is. But you also talked about understanding how you would get burnt out. Burnout is so real. You'd get overwhelmed. And most people expect that, you know, just go, 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 go. I know that you have been called a superwoman before, right? How does that make you feel? Yes,
You know, the problem is you're conditioned a certain way, right? So you want to be the superwoman. I can do it all. I will work, I will grind, I will have this, I will have a life, I'll have this, da, da, da. And then you actually have it and it's destroying you. And you're like, oh. But you can't let everybody down. Gotta be the superwoman. You have to be able to handle everything.
So the pressure from
There's
friends,
pressure,
family.
and it's like so inbuilt in your mind. Like I feel like I've been like this since I was a child. You know, I was the kid with goals and lists, and we have to do this. And at the birthday parties, okay, everybody in Team Blue, you're doing this. Everybody, like I was just always bossy as a child,
Oh, wow.
which I think is conditioning as our oldest daughter.
Yes.
It just happens.
I mean, you mentioned growing up how your dad would give you like little assignments or just talk about different things and how would you do this differently, and if you had this amount of money, what would you do
Yeah,
with it?
constant like tests and scenarios, and you're always planning and strategizing. And so it helps you have the skills, but it took several burnouts for me to realize just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You said you ended up in hospital.
Oh my gosh.
What do you mean, like a blackout or?
The first time I had ulcers, I had not been eating like I'll just start the day and start working, and I'd go 16, 17 hours without eating. So now like there's too much acid in your stomach. I remember going to the doctor in the middle of the night because that's when I have time. My brother's like, go now.
Go now. You were in pain.
Yeah, I hadn't been able to eat at all now for a few days because I just kept throwing up. And then he's like, just go to the doctor. I'm like, when? Then I went to the doctor. They're like, you have ulcers. You need to start to be regular in your eating. I was like, no problem. I work in a hotel. I gave the chef a schedule. Every 45 minutes, send me snacks at this, a smoothie, nuts, something. Like, we'll fix this.
What?
And then I think a year later, I fell in a warehouse in Dubai. We were restocking stuff. And I was like, it'll be fine. A little bit of a limp. I'll manage this. And then 2 days later, we need to go to the airport, and I couldn't walk. So go to the hospital. They gave me some steroid injections. I'm like, just numb it out. I have to be at home. I can't be delaying here. Numbed it out. And then I had pain for like 6 months.
And
but I'll just take painkillers and I'd be fine. And like, sometimes my back hurts. Sometimes I won't be able to sit for a long time. I was busy, is the truth. But then, actually, it was like 2 weeks before COVID. I had a conference in the States, and my sister was in university there at the time. So I went the weekend before so I could see her and then go to the conference.
Okay.
And so while I was there, my mom is like, you're in America, you go and find a doctor because we're tired of you limping around the house. I'm like, it's
So it wasn't just a bit of pain. You were actually
it was
limping.
pain, but like it's like a little bit, like you won't die, you know? Other things are more important. And I remember going to the doctor with my sister, and the doctor is like, how did you walk in here? I was like, what? Your hip is broken. It's like, it's not broken, sir. Please calm down. He's like, no. You need to have surgery this week. You're going to be on crutches for 8 weeks. You can't walk at all. And I need to know why your body is not healing. I'm like, what? You can see on the x-ray, you broke the bone several months ago, and the bone has been trying to heal. Like your bone is like a different color, but it's failing to heal, which means you have too much adrenaline and cortisol in your blood system at all times.
Oh my
So he's
goodness.
like, what job do you have? Do you have a high stress job? It's like, me? No.
Never.
Of course not.
God,
He's
that
like,
must
you
have been
need
so
to stop
scary.
walking.
Though. When someone says you need surgery, like
Yeah,
now,
like
you're thinking, it's
now.
no big
Me, I'm
deal.
like, can you do it today and I make it to the conference in 2 days? Can we work this
so
out?
you were busy thinking about the fact that you're going to miss the conference.
I was very upset about that. Firstly, the man has given me crutches. I walked in like a normal person. He's like, don't put any weight on it. And now we have to get like a specialist who's going to put the screws into your hip. I'm like, screws? So this is like a what kind of recovery? He's like, you have to stop working for 2 months. You cannot walk for 2 months. I'm like, I don't even live here. Please, sir. I have to go home. He's like, it's impossible. You need to take this seriously.
Oh my goodness.
And I was not taking it that seriously. I was like, oh my gosh, we'll have to find another opinion or find something else. And my sister was like, dude, I saw that x-ray. I'm calling mom and dad. You need to take this seriously. And so my mom and my brother came to LA and we did the surgery the next week. Meanwhile, the doctor who had to do the surgery was a military doctor, because the people who have that specific type of fracture tend to be soldiers. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, normally in boot camp when they push themselves too long, that's like too hard, that's how they get that.
So
of
basically,
industry.
the stress in your life had actually even affected like your ability to heal
physically.
itself.
Yeah. And so me, I was very upset personally, because the idea of not working for 2 months from being a super workaholic was very distressing. I had 2 phones. I had to give up one phone to my assistant. I briefed her like her life was on the line. You answer like this, you do this, but that, but like it was so stressful. But luckily for me, the week later, COVID happened. Everybody couldn't work.
Okay.
I was like, this is fantastic, good. If I can't
not
work,
right.
no one can work. We're all going to relax for 2 months.
So at least you were allowed to actually
Oh my God, that
sit
was
there.
so great. But it was very hard, I think, for me. I'd broken an elbow before when I just finished uni, and it's very hard to
How did you break
rely
your
on other
elbow?
people.
I've never broken a bone in my life.
I break so many bones. I broke my foot twice. Like, I break bones. It's very annoying, but to rely on other people to do stuff for
I
you
know.
is so hard for
That's
me.
the hardest
They have
thing.
to cook for you. They have to help you like get up or to shower or to eat or to take your meds. And I was just dreading that.
It's
and
a
now,
very humbling moment as a human being to be taken care
humbling.
of.
With my poor mother and brother and sister. And now COVID has happened. So my sister was sent from school.
So you're
we're
all
locked
together.
down in LA. And my dad is like, we don't know when this thing is going to end. You guys need to figure out how you're going to live there.
Exactly, because even if you wanted to come back, there was no option.
There was no flights, and I was still completely immobile. The doctor's like, you can't even walk through our airport. There's no way you're going. So during that period, I decided to take the time because, I'm not going to just chill. I started reading books about how, I remember reading The Body Keeps Score, and it's about how any trauma or stress or things that we go through emotionally and mentally physically manifest in our bodies.
Yes.
So like specific diseases you get are because of the way you're living your life, the way you carry weight or like problems and things, the way you process things, things you can't stomach. Like there's reasons we have those expressions because it manifests physically in your body.
Yes.
And so you have to sort of start to see your body and I guess I'd never seen my body as more than like a vessel. But now I had to sort of integrate it. You have like a spirit and a mind and a body, and they have to work together. And you can't just push your body to do all these things, because before I could just tell my body, wake up, and we are up. Yes. Doesn't matter how tired you are or what you did last night, push as hard as you can. You have to be on your feet for many hours at work. You don't think about it. You only realize, oh my God, my back is sore at the end.
Thank you. I had to times that I'd work the whole day, I'd be on my feet the whole day, I'll be perfectly fine until I get home and get out of the car, and then it just hits you like, oh my God, right?
What is this?
And then you're like, I'll just need to sleep. I'll be fine tomorrow.
I'll be fine tomorrow. Take the Panadol, wake up, go. But you have to be so much more aware of how these things affect your body and how everything lives in your body. And these books can be kind of scary because it's like even stuff from your childhood is somewhere lodged in a piece of your bone or your back or your this. But it made me so much more conscious about my health. So I had to start eating healthy, making sure I'm like meditating, getting sunshine, drinking water, getting enough sleep. Like I kind of went through like a process to learn all these things for my life to make it more sustainable, because I don't want to be in this situation ever again.
Yes.
That was what I needed to understand. So you learn things about gut health, about your blood,
that's the thing,
about
right?
hydration.
Like your gut really determines and affects everything else.
So many things. But there's so much information out there. If you don't look for it, I'm just like, you mean people have known this? I could have prevented these things. I just didn't know I was living in this other bubble. So that's why I was like, I just have to like spend the time to research and understand these things. But also embodiment practice, where you're sort of in tune with your body, so that while you're on your feet, you're aware, this is starting to hurt. This is starting to do it. The practice is the hardest thing.
Because when we're children, it's so natural. It's so natural to be in touch with everything about your body. You know when you're off and everything. And
children
then
are like, something is hurting. They're so aware.
So aware. And then you get older, and then I guess you have to adult, you have to be strong. And then
everything comes about the mind. Like we have so much value in our brains and what our brains can and can't do and process. We just like switch off everything else.
So you've learned to listen.
Yeah, but that was the hard part. Like I went to a bunch of different YouTubes and courses, and I was asking these therapists and body coaches and somatic therapy. And so somatic therapy was really useful because it's also teaching you how to feel emotions in your body while it's happening. And I'm like, all these years my body was doing these things and I was completely unaware.
Like you feel butterflies. Yeah. That is an indication of your emotional state. Yes.
Right? So small things like that, to notice them as they're happening, to understand why is this happening. And also then it helps you to pause so you don't react. Because while the emotion is happening, your emotion is just giving you information. Doesn't mean if you feel hot, you start to shout at someone.
Yes.
So to be able to be aware of that and have the moment, okay, I'm feeling something, I need to breathe and let the emotion pass, and then realize, get access back to my brain, what is actually going on. Because all these small things are connected. Because now you're angry with that person, you're not looking where you're going, you've now fallen and hurt something. So like it's all tied together, and I felt like it was like learning a new language. My body speaks this whole other language that I've never spoken, and I have to learn how to listen to it.
It's kind of funny. Just say. But yeah, I mean, this information is out there. Just listening to you now, I'm like, oh, you are a student of life. Because you're talking about podcasts and everything, that means you're constantly learning. And sometimes people lose that along the way, especially when they get busy. You're so focused on solutions and doing and getting and talking and all these things, you forget to keep learning. I watched a YouTube show, basically. It was talking about how stress is almost contagious. Now, this doctor was saying that it comes out of our skin. So if you have a boss who's always so stressed, it can actually, be passed right on to the people around them, especially like how how, in certain workplaces, women apparently their periods start to sync, right? So if women live together or work together, they start having their periods at the same time. But apparently that the stress hormone comes out of our bodies and actually kind of like affects everyone around us. And I feel like sometimes it's only when you see it in action in workplaces that you might be, oh, actually that wouldn't make sense. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Oh, I definitely think that's true. And I think that's how company culture is built.
Ah.
The big personalities in the office are always the ones who take the lead and who, like you say, it's infectious to everyone else. I remember seeing human beings have a 7-foot aura around us, like our environment, what we can absorb. Like, when you're sitting in the back of a car and you can tell the person in front is angry.
Yes.
But you can't see their face, but they're pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
It's because you can sense it. Because that's how humans are designed. I think it's like a caveman thing of how we used to survive without, in the jungle.
Or sometimes even just the way someone is standing, or
we can
like
feel
you can
it.
see the energy or
that's
the
coming
tension
off them. So it's actually something I've talked about in some of the emotional intelligence videos, because everyone is going through their own things. You don't know what that person dealt with in the morning. You don't know what their boss just shouted at them there. But we're all bringing all these emotions into our room, and you can't press reset and cleanse the room before you have a meeting. You have everybody and everything in there. But I think it's a practice to make your energy infectious.
Yeah, okay.
Because when you come sometimes, because my job is the problems. So by the time I'm there, there's a problem, someone is upset. I never get to come to the meeting where it's like, hey, it's the brainstorming meeting. This is the crisis. We've brought everyone in the room. This one haven't been speaking to this one shouted at that one. What do we do?
Yes.
So my own energy has to be the one of, we're going to get through this. We have to do this together. Everybody needs to get on board. You have to
Yes.
It comes out of you and they get absorbed in it to it, and then everyone starts to do it as well. I think it's like when you yawn and then everyone else starts to yawn.
Yes,
so you just have to be intentional about it, because if you just are passive and any room you enter, this room the boss was shouting, we're all just going to sit quietly. Man, you don't know what up with your boss. Yeah, they've been shouting, but if you try to cheer them up, it can help a little. Bring your own energy. So you have to carry your own weather. Yeah. I think that's what that expression
means.
Very
powerful. That's actually very, very powerful.
I feel like that's what it was. I got that tattoo when I was in my 20s, because I was like, you can't just be a victim to everyone's mood.
It's somewhere. Okay.
You can't be victim to everybody's moods and days, because some people never regulate their moods. Some people are very good at regulating their moods. Some people are always angry, always sad.
Always angry, always stressed.
Always stressed.
Even when there's nothing to stress about.
Yeah, but I don't want to be sad because you're sad. You leave a room sometimes, you're like, I just feel drained. Why? Because of the people you're with.
And it's funny, with the conversations people have now about boundaries, they're like, avoid.
Yeah, but you can't. The energy vampires. The people who drain you. The people, we can't just cut everyone in my life.
Thank you. If this is someone, whether it's a family member or a spouse or a partner, are you going to cut them off?
Just say, you know what? My therapist said you're an energy drainer. You have to leave.
So own your own energy. Bring your own
energy. And you do have to be aware. Some people's energies are stronger than others. Yeah. You see very charismatic people, or like pastors. Pastors are my favorite. You walk into this church, that pastor has all the energy, everything they're saying. You can see the whole audience is like... That's just energy.
But can you imagine how drained they are at the end of that?
But when I speak to professional speakers, at a conference, it's a 4-day conference. They are keynote speaker on day 2. They will not be walking around the conference mingling with people, greeting people, signing autographs. No.
You will not see them anywhere.
They're in their room with their team. No one can come near them till after they do their presentation. Then they can come and greet and do everything else and be a person. Because you have to also conserve your energy. You have to know what you have to give. Because now you're drained from greeting 100 guests. You're going to do your speech. It's going to be flat. So you start to see how, even when you look at musicians and how they prep, they all have routines before they get on stage. Whether they pray, and some of them exercise,
their quiet time,
they're protected. They're not going to see their mother-in-law in the morning for breakfast and then they're going straight to the concert. They know they can't do that. So you have to also know your own energy. What triggers you, what refills you, what is important. I realized with filming stuff, even my team knows, do not schedule filming after other things. If I have to go through 4 meetings and then I have to sit and film videos for YouTube for 2 hours, I'm completely dead.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be the same energy. And especially when you're dealing with people, like now when you have to do a public event, you have to know your energy and conserve your energy. And I think that's why the pastors are great at it. They're constantly replenishing themselves because of their faith. They are always reading the Bible. They have their
Yes.
praise and worship. They are doing what they're doing. They're engaging one-on-ones with people. So they get refilled all the time. So that when they actually have to perform, they're good to go.
And this applies to everyone. I feel like every single person can benefit from this. You must be conscious and aware of even just the state of mind, or the emotional state you're in.
It's about the state you're in. It's something actually Tony Robbins talks about a lot. He's like, if you can learn to manage your state, anything is possible for you. Because we all have good days when we're in a good mood. Oh, I'm in a great mood today. I have energy. I'm going to eat a salad. I'm going to drink water. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have a great meeting. You'll do 1,000 things.
Yeah.
But then on the bad day, I'm just going to do the bare minimum.
And yet you have to still push yourself to do whatever it is you
Yeah,
want to
but
do.
you're going to do it at a less optimum level. You're going to be cranky with your co-workers. You know, you're not going to feel the energy. You're going to cancel plans because you're in a poor state. It's not that something has happened. Maybe something upset you. But that one thing now has destroyed your state, your emotional, physical way you are.
Yeah.
So if you can learn to get your state back into a good state faster.
Yeah.
I've not yet learned how to completely do it all the time.
You know,
I've learned to do it faster. Because me, I first get angry, then I get sad, then I have to go through acceptance. Okay, now I'm a person again. But you learn your stages.
Yeah.
You do what you need to do. Some people have to go take a walk. You know what I mean? Or call a friend, or put on music for 10 minutes.
Yes.
Because you can't
Or
let
just have some
something...
quiet time and sit there.
Do what you need. Otherwise, it triggers you. Your state is gone. Now you've lost the day.
And that's the thing, because you know that being aware enough to know that, okay, I'm slightly off, I'm going to take a minute here. And it's so hard, because it's funny how in life people say, oh, I'm so busy, I'm doing this, I barely have a moment in the day. But you realize that if you do not prioritize these things and create the time, then the only person who will suffer is you.
It's you.
And unfortunately, the people around you.
But people don't realize that. They blame everyone else in their life. But this one called me, that one needed me, I was busy with this. You will help no one if you burn out, or if you're unable, if you're too tired, or if you're giving poor work at the office. You can't deliver poorly at the office for 3 months and say, I've been having problems at home. It's too late.
Yes.
Tell us now. This is the challenge. How are you managing the challenge?
This is what I'm doing. I need some help, some assistance.
Yes. You have to speak up and advocate for yourself, because when you wait for the problem, it's too late. No one is going to have sympathy for you afterwards.
Yeah.
You could have prevented all of this. You just didn't speak up. And I think that's something we have to talk about more and give people courage and space to do.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. Every day is hard for everyone. Don't look at someone's life and think, oh my God, that one's life is so nice and easy and beautiful. It's not. They have problems. You don't know their
Everyone has problems.
And everyone has their own emotional roller coaster that they're going through depending on their problems. They're just doing their best to navigate these things. So give yourself that grace. Make those moments in a day. Whether it's 2 seconds before you enter a room, sometimes you go to the bathroom. I always tell women this. You know, when you're nervous before a speech or a presentation or a meeting, just go to the bathroom. Us as women, we get to be in an enclosed space. But as a men, I don't know what you do. Sit there and just breathe for 2 minutes. Calm yourself down. Give yourself a little pep talk. What would your best friend tell you? Say you can do it. Get out and you're ready to go.
It goes a long, long way.
Yeah, just make those moments. No one is ever going to kill you for being 1 minute late to the meeting. Let's be honest. And if you know you're that kind of a person, reach 15 minutes before. So you have those 5-10 minutes before. So you have the time to calm down. You have to build those moments in your day, because I remember talking about this in therapy. It felt like I was always spinning. I will go from back to back to back to back meeting. This is why I wasn't eating. Me, I don't move. People just keep coming in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and 8 hours will pass. So I had to start to make, I'm sorry, I have to go to the bathroom because I have to be drinking water.
Yeah.
Or I just started eating throughout meetings. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just have to be eating, but you go. Because there's someone after you and someone after them and someone after them, and I won't eat the whole day. So I had to become that rude person, or it's me with ulcers.
Yes. So you also have
had
to
to
have
do
your,
that.
set your boundaries in your own
Yeah.
way. So you're talking about the fact that you're a firefighter. You come in when there are problems. So that means everyone is always looking at you to solve your problems. And then I remembered you saying that your dad kind of threw you into construction. How old were you at the time? Early 20s or so?
23.
Yes. And it kind of threw you into construction, and it took a while because they weren't taking you seriously. They're like, this little girl, what do you know?
I would not go back to that time.
And that means the growth over time, because now, of course, you are the person who has to solve a lot of the issues, and that means people have to trust you and come to you. How has that been for you in terms of your evolution as Nataliey?
I've never really thought about that. I guess it happened organically, but
Have you surprised yourself in any way?
oh yeah, I never thought I would know all the things that I have to know because I have to work across many sectors. I can't get technical. I cannot become an engineer, but I have to know enough that I can have a conversation with an engineer.
Yes.
In every different sector, they have their engineer. So now if I'm in a telecom meeting, I have to know all the abbreviations. My God, abbreviations kill me. The telecom guys have their abbreviations. You have the DSDs and the DSTs, and this is what we're doing. And then you go to like the hotel side, and they're like, MICE is this month. And I'm just like, I have to remember everyone's what they need and what they mean. And you have to keep learning all the time. So I always tell people, make it easy for yourself to learn because your industry is always evolving. So like if you're in marketing, follow all the big marketing guys on Twitter, on LinkedIn, all the companies, right?
Yeah.
So my social media feed is Katogo. It's construction and marketing, and it's a customer service, it's telecom, it's graphic design, it's videos. I'm always sending people all sorts of articles, links, what, because I'm always having to like follow up on what these new things are so that I understand what it means.
So you try to learn a little bit about everything.
Yeah, you have to just learn a little bit about everything, and I also want to have a go-to person in each industry who I can ask stuff.
Right.
Yeah, someone who's done it longer than me, they're technical in the industry. I can't sit and get a lesson from them, but I can tell them I'm having this and this challenge. From my understanding, these are the options that I have. What do you think? Oh, no, you can't do that because of the regulatory, do this one or this one. And I'm like, okay, great, go.
Okay.
So I kind of had to learn those skills as you go because you can't know everything. And I had to accept that early. I can never know all these things. It's too much. And do I really need to learn all these things? It's always just like a puzzle.
That's the thing, yeah?
You just have to learn problem solving as the skill. It's about assessing what are the challenges, how did we get to this situation, and now what are the possible solutions, and then what are the resources you need for those solutions. Is it time, is it money, is it this permission, is it this approval, what do we need to do? So even when I get to that angsty meeting of everyone doesn't know what to do, I'm like, what are we doing? What is the problem? What are your solutions? All of you, what are your ideas? This is your sector.
Break it down step by step.
And then I question. I think that's what everyone must just think I'm nuts for.
Well,
I
you're always
ask so
asking.
many questions. You can never just get through a meeting. You
But
can
it's
never just have a
important.
presentation. Why did you do it that way? How many are these? Didn't you say last time they were 12, not 15? Okay, so why would you do that? Because for me, I have to logic it out like a child.
Yes.
Because I don't know these technical things. But simplicity, I think, wins in many areas.
Yeah.
If the logic stands, then we'll have the solution. Then it should work.
Okay.
And so far for me, that has worked.
Yeah. But also, you don't have to be an expert in everything. You just need to have the experts. You need to have
Hire
experts to talk to.
experts. Make sure that people who are actually doing it day to day know what they're doing. It should not be me running a hotel.
Yeah.
I am not an expert, but I trust those who are running the hotel. You know what you're running. You need to know 100 abbreviations.
Yes.
But I just need to know the top line ones so that I can have a meeting with you and understand what happened. So it's more about breaking it down into like a logical way. And so for me, that has always been part of my curious nature.
Yeah.
So learning to
'Cause
do
you
that
have
as
to
you
be.
go. Yeah. It's not been so challenging.
But what I also found was very interesting. The last time you chatted, you said you hear it all the time that it's important to manage egos, but you kind of really, I felt like, brought it to light in a different way, because everyone comes in. For example, you have a room full of experts. Everyone has their 10, 15, 20 years of experience behind them, right? And everyone's coming in from a place of, I have this solution, or I believe I'm right, and you have to kind of not massage, but manage, I guess.
You gotta
Massage
use what
a
you
bit.
gotta do.
Yeah, let everyone, because sometimes people say you also have to let everyone feel like they're important in their own right.
I think
I don't
those
know.
are different things. I think,
It's management styles as well.
yeah, I think people need to feel valued. Every individual, by the time you're in that room, there's a reason you're in that room. So you need to respect that person. Greet everyone, whether they're the secretary, it's the guy who brought the water, it's the this. Just say hello. You know, be nice to them.
That's one of your dad's strengths.
Yeah, I
He
learned that from my
remembers
dad.
Everyone.
And him, I don't know how his brain doesn't mind. God.
So, he literally remembers everyone.
Everyone and their face. He's terrible with names, but he'll remember your face and remember the last conversation he had with you, even if it was 10 years ago. It's crazy how he does it.
Wow.
His mind is just, it's like a sponge. But I feel like it's about the respect, and also that's how you get people on board, you know? I realized early, I am the boss, I can force everyone to do this. That was my attitude when I was younger.
Yeah.
This is the plan, here are your instructions, go.
go do what I've said.
I've told you to do it. Yeah, that doesn't really work.
Yeah.
People have to like
They have to buy
in. So that was really hard for me to learn, because I always thought I know better than you. I've done the research. I've checked this. I've done this. I've hired you. Just bloody do it. It would drive me crazy. I've like made every little step.
Yes.
But people are human beings. They also have the way they want to do it. They have their own thoughts and ideas, and you need to respect autonomy. I think I'm still like a bit of a micromanager on some things, but I've tried. I've grown. So
and sometimes you might have your way, but someone else will still get to the same solution.
That's what I learned.
Their way.
You have to communicate the big picture. Guys, this is what we're trying to achieve. Okay. I think you could do it this and this way. But if you guys want to do it in a different way, sure, as long as we get here, I'm not going to be on your case as long as you deliver. Let's get to the vision, to the big picture. So that's the buy-in.
Everyone
needs the buy-in, yeah. And so you need to know everyone's strength and weakness and their personality and how those personalities are going to work together and whose personality is going to need what kind of support to get to the vision.
Yes.
That's the challenge. So everybody has their ego and what they think and how they feel, and someone's ego is going to clash with this other one's ego. So you kind of have to see how to do it.
Managing people is one of the hardest things to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. That my dad constantly says that. He's like, you have to learn to manage people. Once you do that, everything in business is easy. I'm like, I wouldn't say it's easy, but yeah. What has helped me, I think, is I try to learn people quickly, because I have to meet so many people every day. Yeah. I have to be able to have a 5-minute conversation with you, and I can tell these are your red flags. This one is going to fight. This one is going to cry. This one is going to not show up. This one is going to, like, what are your weaknesses on a bad day?
Yes.
And then it's easy to see your strengths. They're going to be able to handle this kind of amount of work or lead the team or do this. So in those 5 minutes, I can assess and see if you're going to fit.
But then that's where the fact that you ask questions, that's where it comes in. That's your strength then.
Yeah.
Because those questions are giving you information.
The information that you need. Other than that, then people can learn everything. You don't need to worry about the technical part. Go do this online course or watch someone do it once, then you do it. It's about if you're going to fit and we're going to get to the vision. That's what I always think first.
Yeah. So one of the things you said, like, when you started out in your social media, sharing a bit about, what you were learning, a bit of your experience, your journey, you realize, wait, I can't be the only one. There's so many other people also have a wealth of experience. So we talked about Her Working Woman. And I'm always curious to know what events you have, what's coming up. And for people joining us today for the first time, can you just tell them what Her Working Woman is?
Sure. So Her Working Woman is a platform for women who want to earn money. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a career woman or a student, it's all about knowledge and opportunities. So we have events every month called the Her Meetups. We have them in Kampala and in Mbarara, and we're launching Jinja. We have virtual ones in Jinja and Dubai. And at each meetup, there's a guest speaker who's going to tell you about their life story, their business. There's always a topic, like a theme. We also have different partners and sponsors who teach you about different things, who offer you different products. The physical meetups have vendors. So if you have a business, you can bring your products, you can sell them, you can get customers, you can meet other people who are doing something similar to you. We also have executive dinners, which is for more established career women. So we get a different kind of guest speaker who has more experience and it's more intimate. We limit the guest dinners to 40 women. And then they can have a really good in-depth conversation, which I love. And then we also have now lots of different kinds of training.
I think that's the great thing. There's always something to learn from and something to take away from.
And then we also have WhatsApp groups where every day we're sharing different articles, opportunities, jobs, scholarships. You can sell stuff from your business, and there are different groups for different themes. So that's been something that's been really great to build out.
Am I right in the fact that you were in school for like 6 years? Your undergrad, and then masters. You did that, master's, and then so it's like a period of 6 years.
Yeah, I was gone for a long time.
Wow. Okay.
Also, I changed course, so I did an extra 2 years in UK undergrad.
Okay. So it's so funny how you were telling me about that and how that business kind of just kept happening, and you were like, "What is going?"
It just exploded.
Exactly.
Man, I went to have my master's and have fun. I've never lived in America. I'm like, I'm gonna live my best California life. Bye, guys. Nothing.
No. And it was to bring you back to Uganda, if anything, right?
Oh my gosh. But life, it happens. Things happen organically.
But when I think about that, in a way, it was also empowering young people and helping. And then you've had a lot of programs around youth empowerment. Now, aside from Her Working Woman, what else are you working on in that space? Because I know it's something you're passionate about.
Yeah, it is. Because I think, I don't know, maybe because I meet young people, I see them, and I feel I feel so privileged because I got to grow up around my dad. And because he grew up with such difficult circumstances, he has this attitude of no one is coming to help me. I have to fix it myself. So he's always trying new stuff every single day. I will pass by my dad's house. He's like, do you know what I read about today? We should start this, and this business. I'm just like, who has the time to start a business, Daddy? Because it's not you and it's not me. But he has this attitude of anything is possible, even in the hardest of circumstances. And so we all grew up like that. And I think whenever I meet young people and they're like, I need a job, I don't know what to do, I'm like, let's change that attitude. Yeah. Anything is possible. And then when you spend time in conferences all over the world and you see what other people get to do and have access. I went to the University of South Wales in Australia. Oh my gosh. They had this like 3D lab and all the students in all the different departments were allowed to use it. It's like a business hub. You get free business classes, you get to print and use things from a 3D printer, and then they can showcase their stuff. And then upstairs they had office space for them, the ones who make it a real company, because you need an address and many of these students don't have an address, so that you can sell your businesses. And the university students came up with it and the university approved it and they just had access to it. And I'm like, we have to have this in Uganda. It's not fair. Like our young people here have so much energy. They have so many ideas. I get harassed about invest in my business, invest in my business, invest in my business. And I'm like, this is the right attitude, but this is not how you're going to do it. Yes. But I always feel like there's so much opportunity in Africa. All our sectors are growing. Our population is growing so fast. Yes. And we have access to some of the good technology faster than some other countries. We have a lot of regulatory gray area, so you can like experiment on stuff that's really cool. But I feel like it's all in silos, right? Access to funding is not easy if you're an average young entrepreneur. Yes. Access to mentors.
I like that you said that it's all just...
It's completely separated.
So scattered. People don't know. Like having information that is there and...
It should be easy. Make it easy for them. That's my thing. Make it easy for a young person to have the skills that they need, to have access to opportunities, access to capital, access to mentors, access to support. They don't know how to register businesses. URA really pushes and tries, and UIA and URSB, but like... You're trying in one drop in Kampala here. Yeah. So like you already
the support you need in those first few months, the guidance. Because I feel like so many people just start things, but they have no clue what they're doing.
Even how to research to start. Oh, I saw my cousin did this business, let me do it. Oh, this person is selling this goods from China, let me try it. You have to do the research, but you don't even know how to do the research. You know, make a simple business plan. Understand your competitors.
Oh, you tell someone to make a business plan. It's like, huh?
I know, that's how you know to get rid of them. You come back with your business plan and I'll give you some money. Because they think it's this big, difficult 20-page document. So what I do is I send them usually a YouTube link for the Lean Business Canvas. It's like 5 minutes. You need to basically understand the inputs and outputs of your business. If you can understand that, now you can build on that. But that's what I'm saying. I was lucky enough to learn these things, whether it's from my dad or from business school or from a mentor. So I feel like I want to make these things more accessible. It's not fair. You shouldn't have to pay crazy school fees or go to amazing schools to get this information. We need more entrepreneurs here. When you look at the unemployment in Uganda, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
There's no way that us, the private sector, are going to absorb all these millions of kids every year. So we need more entrepreneurs. So that's why whenever it's like business centered or youth empowerment things, I'm like, I want to make time for this. I want to like grow it and push it. And also you get to learn, because the big money comes from these international organizations where you have this office in like Geneva or in Montreal and they're sitting in a room looking at slides, deciding who gets what.
Yes.
And that bugs me. And I don't want to be that in Uganda. Like now I'm just sitting in my nice little office with my AC in Naguru, deciding what's going to happen with this whole project in a different district. So I like to also be in the field and get on the ground and go and see the people and speak to them.
Yes.
So like with Musana, we were working with street food vendors. In telecom, we work with mobile money agents. With Project 500K, now we're working with catering, waiters, housekeepers. So it's important to also go and engage with them.
Because I remember you saying it was so powerful for you, because you know you've lived your life your own way, and then to go out into community, to go out and see how people live, how they, you know, basically on the ground. And I think a lot of people don't actually do that for whatever reason. They don't.
It's not designed that way, and they don't really have an interest, if I'm honest.
Well, that too.
Like, a lot of people who work in development, they love that they work in development. They're so passionate. They want to know that their programs are reaching people. But I think it's different when you see the people. So for me, I think something I'm very blessed about is I get to be like a bridge. I can go to Save the Children events where you're meeting like the British royal family, you're sitting with celebrities, like it's all fancy and dramatic and it's like everything is nice. But these are people who have never left their nice little bubble.
Yes.
Then with same Save the Children, they will take me straight into the refugee camp and I get to actually sit with the mothers and go through the program that they're learning. And there's a translator, of course, but they're explaining how they crossed from Congo, what they've gone through, what their children are going through, how they're received, what they need. So it's easy to connect it for me. So that when I'm in that room with the people with the money, I can tell them, yo,
this is what
was going on there. Me, I've been there because you can't go there. And I can speak in a way you can understand it. And
I think that's one of the biggest issues in the development sector, that so many decisions have been made, whether it's what aid to give, what supplies to give, what help in this way or that way, but it does not translate to the people on the ground. Or it does not get to them as well.
That's the other challenge. Because the decisions are made also in a political sphere. What looks good right now, what is what we should be investing in, what is the way to do that. So also sometimes some of these companies ask me like, okay, we've been mandated to do something for climate change or for unemployment in your country. What do you think are the practical responses or like the practical things we should do? And I'm like, okay, from what I know, these are the actual challenges. This is your budget, perhaps pair it like this.
Yes.
And I feel happy to advise and support that way because there's too big a gap. The people who are making the decision are so far from the people who are actually going to live and benefit from that. Even in our own country, in our own government, a lot of the top level decisions are made with what they think makes sense.
Yes.
But the life you're living is really not the life the person is living. Not that I'm living it, but me, I like to go and see them and sit with them and talk to them. And I think it's that gap, and people don't think that we need to do that. That's why you end up with a mismatch of what actually happens, or programs that fail. And the only way you see it is you learn. I've also failed through this. You roll out a program, you think you know everything, and on the ground, no one is responding.
Yeah.
And then you're like, why? Once you sit and you ask why, that's then how you do it. So now I know before you do a program, you got to go do some focus groups.
Yes.
Go there.
The research
dress
is so
how
important.
they want you to dress. Me who used to come to the village in jeans, don't do that.
No more.
No. Have long skirts for when I go to up country. Go in their communities. Like with vendors, we'd meet in like the markets. They always have like sports betting bars. Or with the women vendors, they'd always have like a room for church inside the market. So it's not like I'm going to tell you all of you come to my fancy office and then they're uncomfortable. You go meet them where they're at so they can walk you around, show you around, tell you their stories. You meet their kids.
Loosen up.
Yeah. So that you fit in and they can tell you the truth. You know, those other people of that program, they promised us all these things. Then they forced us to do this. But now see what does it help. So you don't make the same mistakes. But it takes a level of intentionality, I think, to do it. But I enjoy doing it, so maybe I'm lucky.
Clearly you do. Now, I remember you're saying about your dad, that the fact is like every day he wants to do something different. And I've also heard you like you listen and you're like, you should do something like this, do something like that. And you're talking about like opportunities, because there's so many opportunities out there. And I think that's the challenge sometimes. You're like, oh my God, this can be done and that can be done and that can be done, but you can't do everything. You cannot do everything. How do you manage that? How do you manage yourself?
It's a daily struggle. I drew a line, I think, after her, it was before her. I said, I'm not starting any more companies. So then I started writing down all the ideas I would have, and then I'll be like in a bar with friends. I'd be like, don't you work in this field? I have this idea. You start this business. It doesn't work. People have to want to do it.
I can imagine you telling me, Crystal, now what you do this, I'll be like, okay. I'm like, oh, the Lord have mercy.
So nuts. But I'm telling you, it's something that needs to be done. But you can say that in every sector. So when people are like, what sector should I start my business? Every sector. Where is your passion?
People ask you, where should I? What should I
start a farm? Should I start a salon? I'm like, what do you find interesting? Because you need to be an expert in that thing. You can't say I started a farm and you're so bored when you're reading about veterinary whatever's. You have to care about it.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to make the decision, because whatever sector you're in, you will find customers. There's no sector that they can say, we're finished, the customers, it's full. Even the banks are still fighting for new customers with all their marketing and branding and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
you will
nice
always
reminder.
find them. Yeah. It's about finding that passion and being ready to do the work. It's also not easy. I don't know why we always think business is a quick thing. You're not going to make 3 t-shirts and sell them today, and then tomorrow you're going to sell 50.
Yeah.
I know that's how some of the speakers speak it, but even like My dad, in his mind, he's like, I went and bought 1 bag of sugar, I came back. Then I bought 10 bags of sugar, then I came back. When he tells the story, it sounds like,
But it wasn't like
yeah,
that.
maybe it took a couple more trips, a bit more time, but it was long ago.
Yeah.
So you don't remember that grind in the beginning.
But I think that's also another
it's the
thing,
principle.
especially when we're talking about the youth. I mean, there's that disconnect where there's that we have to make it today. Also, we talk about as Ugandans the deals culture. People want quick things, and things take time. Because even along the way, you might have to pivot because what you're doing is not working, and then you have to go another way and try something else.
Yep. And we don't have that support of failure. Everyone wants everything instantly, and they want it to look good instantly. Because you try and tell your parents, I'm going to start a business. After they've sacrificed for your school fees, they don't want to hear it. So they're not going to give you 2 years to try different things and they fail. Get a job. Grow up.
At least be working in the meantime. Then you can do your things on the side.
So I think that's why the whole ecosystem has its challenges.
Yeah.
Our generation is very quick. One of my uncles says we eat the sugarcane backwards. Apparently sugarcane is sweeter at the end. I didn't know that. It's like, as we learn, you eat slowly. Slowly you reach the sweetness. You people sweet fast. You just want the immediate thing.
That's how I eat pineapple.
But that's the attitude that young people have. So they think, if I do this business for 1 month, I'll start making money.
Yeah. And it's not going to work like that.
That's just not realistic.
It can take years.
Yeah, it's going to take years, and that's okay. It's part of the struggle, which is why I really encourage community. Because the day you're crying that you don't have money, I promise like 10 others have also had a hard day. You cry together. Be like, we'll all start again tomorrow.
And also, if you're doing work that is meaningful, that is impacting lives, there's a way that will also keep pushing you, rather than if it's just about the money.
Yeah. It has to be connected to something more. You have to know your why. Why are you really doing this?
Yeah.
It's
why.
not just that you can show off on your friends. You have a sibling who you want to pay their school fees for, or you have someone that is relying on you, or you want to help your mother so she doesn't have to work so hard. Like, there are reasons that can push you even in the hard times, even when you could go to the party and drink the money, or you could use that money for stock tomorrow.
Yeah.
Those are the small decisions you have to make that are hard. And that's what builds the resilience as you go. Because there's no hack, there's no shortcut, there's no secret. I see people who complain
So
about
many people are disappointed right now, but we want the hack. We want the secret. That's what we want.
I get that
But it's
Twitter
not
wants to say
there.
these motivational speakers are lying. They didn't just do this, and it worked. No one has said we do this, and it worked.
I'm telling you
But
what worked for me.
For me, this is what I've done. And even if I show you that, I can now take you 10 years ago and show you pictures of me on our site in construction, looking confused and lost. It's taken step by step by step. It's not like you can just pop in and out and it works. It's hard.
It is, yeah.
And it's hard every day. But nothing that has value is easy.
True.
So once you get over that mentality, I think it becomes easier. So the people I follow are the extreme ones, like on social media, like David Goggins. Those angry
Oh, I
people
love
just wanna shout
him.
at you.
Love him.
You're just being a victim. Stop being a bitch. Get up,
Exactly.
do it, run. I'm just,
No excuses.
Okay, I can do it. Sometimes you need to be shouted at.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because when you
do.
feel sorry for yourself, it's you who's not moving.
And we're in a culture, though, also of feeling sorry for ourselves. Because, you see, much as we talk about mental health, and it worries me a bit, I know I've said this, but it worries me that the more awareness we have of mental health now, the more people are finding a comfort zone and an excuse to say, but no, it's because I am this, or I am that, or I'm struggling.
Yeah.
But you said before, everybody has problems.
It's a tricky one.
It's a really...
You have to find a balance.
I'm a little worried about where we're heading.
You overly empower the victims with this kind of stuff. Yes. Oh, I have this condition. Oh, I have that. Oh, I need this much coddling. Some people now wrap themselves in cotton because they don't want to deal with the world. But the way I see it is everyone is living their own life. Even you who has wrapped yourself there, you're the one who's going to see if your life is moving. In 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, where are you?
Yeah.
You have to protect your own mental health. You can't outsource that. But you have to also know when you're pushing yourself too hard, too far. Like, I don't want to break another bone.
Yes.
But I also know when, I only did 2 meetings today. I could have done more, perhaps.
Is it the end of the world, though? I mean, like you said.
I got to find a balance. Because if I push too much, or if I don't do enough, then I'm beating myself up about it. You have to find what kind of works for you. And that's why I think things like what inspires you help. Sometimes I need the guy to shout at me. And sometimes I need those soothing, like Instagram, oh, it's all in God's hands. You, stars. You gotta know what works for you because it's you're measuring yourself with. So you can use every excuse if you want. You can use any motivator that you want. But you have to find those things. Just because it worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
True.
You just have to try. Yeah, explain.
And
Tell people,
sometimes there's
experiment.
even an element of luck sometimes.
Yeah.
You might just be in the right place, the right time, you meet the right person, and things fall in place.
I
These are all
definitely
part
think
of
so.
it.
But I think
But
you're
that's
only
also
lucky
coming from-
if you're putting yourself in the luck spaces.
Right. You're in a place of alignment. You're in a
Yeah.
positive place.
Luck is what favors those who are ready, who are there. Luck is everywhere. It's always moving around. I really believe that. Some people are super lucky, right? But you know how they're super lucky? They're out there doing things. They're at this function, they're at this networking event, they went to this conference, they're at the shop, then they're in the town, then they're this. Of course they're gonna be lucky. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
You who sat in your office house for 6 months, where is luck going to find you?
Good point. Very
Make
good
the
point.
luck. I feel like that's how you open doors for yourself. If you're someone who's just opening doors all the time, you don't know which door is going to lead where. But if it takes you 6 months to open one door, to go to one event, to
Yeah.
meet one person,
Yeah.
to try one new thing,
Because we
don't
also know
cry,
you
you
have
don't
to
have
put
luck.
yourself out there.
Yeah, luck has to find you. So as you're moving and doing and trying, you will just be shocked at how easy it becomes. I went to this conference, I met this person introduced me to the thing, now I have this deal. But if you didn't go, your luck was never going to get you.
True. We've talked about emotional regulation. I know we're about to wrap up, but I can imagine there've been moments where you've wanted to fail. I mean, like you said, sometimes it's easy to dwell on, that's not fair. Maybe you've been treated unfairly, you've been judged unfairly. How do you deal with those moments? And is there one that really comes to mind where like it was an injustice? And you've learned so much from it.
We all have responses, natural responses when we feel attacked. Flight, freeze, phone, and something else.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Flight or freeze
or something. So me, it's fight.
Okay.
Me, I'm an angry person. If anything comes at me, the first thing is to fight, which usually has consequences. So to start with, let me first give you an example.
Okay.
There was this day I was on Twitter. I like Twitter. It's interesting. But Twitter's a jungle. You gotta go in knowing. So now I have this Twitter friend. I've never met her in real life, but she's a nice girl. We support each other's Twitter things. She shares, I share. She's funny, she's interesting, she promotes stuff. Now this guy starts sexually harassing her on Twitter. And she's trying to tell him, like, please leave me alone. And he's not listening. So then I came and also doubled down to back her up. Leave the girl alone. She's not asking for that. She didn't want this.
Yes.
The guy came for me. This guy started abusing me in Luganda. I can't read Luganda. Now I'm in a fight with you on Twitter in Luganda. I'm texting my cousins. What does this mean? How do I respond? That's not hard enough. Find this guy.
Oh gosh.
Now we start arguing. His other friends start coming. They start attacking me personally. I was just like, what have I done? What have I
So
done?
this was like a full
on Twitter. We are now in war. And this guy, I didn't know. He just looked like some student person. He had his own following. I don't know what they normally talk about, but they came with energy. I'm like, I don't know any of you people. And you've really come for me when I'm trying to defend this girl. I was like, first, I don't feel bad because I will always defend a woman who's being harassed. That one I don't feel bad about. Perhaps I should not have engaged so much. That taught me to let things go on Twitter. That experience,
It was rough.
yeah. But when you're in that angry state, you're really not thinking clearly.
So that is your example. You go back to that, you're like, I'm not doing that again.
Never go back there, because you can't start deleting the tweets. It makes it a bigger thing. Like how do you really win on a Twitter fight? What is real victory?
I feel like the only victory is you just go quiet. You do not engage.
Man, they say
because someone can make noise, but if they're making noise at a wall, then what?
Yeah, it's better. But that takes restraint. So that was my experience. I had to learn you cannot just unleash anger anyhow. Especially now, especially in a public forum. Like, my brother is like, when you're doing grant applications and they Google you, that's what they're going to find? It's like, they can't speak Luganda. They won't know. But it's something that you have to have restraint over. And so I know that for me, managing anger has been the challenge.
Yeah.
Even with small things in my relationships, with my work, with my family, to not engage so badly and cause even a bigger problem. Learning to pause.
Yeah.
Or learning when you need to walk away, and like we'll pick up this discussion another time when I have but because I know that I've lost access to all my logic.
Yes.
I'll be able to fight in logical points, but it's really not kind,
Yes.
and it's not the good logic.
Okay.
So I've learned to do that.
It's important that you're aware. I mean, then you know that this is not, because the thing about, self-awareness is knowing what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, knowing when you can lose it, the things that can trigger you.
Yeah, you prepare yourself, avoid those things. It's not good to get angry like that all the time. And also
Because also anger is such a draining emotion though, because it just drains you. No? So it fires you up?
Yeah, me, I get so
Really?
riled up because
I feel like at the end of it, I'm just like...
people who are angry, people like who are fighters, it's very natural because
Okay.
it's protecting you from sadness. So some people, when they're upset, they just get sad, they start crying immediately. I'm first going to fight you. I'll be sad later, baby.
Earlier you said you can't even remember the last time you cried. And I was like, what?
I'm not a sad person. I'll cry a little bit here and there, but I'm not going to cry.
But will you like cry when you're frustrated? Like,
Yeah, I'll be frustrated, but it's like a tear because I'm shouting at you, which is something I'm learning not to do. So to manage it, I have to now have my anger and see how to dissipate it from myself, walk around, tell yourself things to get it out so that you don't engage when you're in that state.
Yeah.
It's a poor state. You're not going to get good results. You're causing more problems for yourself. You're going to now upset someone or piss someone off, and you're going to need that person tomorrow.
yes.
So don't do it. But to have that ability, to have that restraint, and also to cut down the time. I remember being so angry with my dad, I didn't go to work for 2 weeks once.
Oh,
I was too angry. Every day I'd wake up too angry. I can't talk to you. I can't go in the office. I can't do anything.
oh wow.
2 whole weeks. He's like, do you plan on coming back to? I said, well, we'll come when I am ready. But I realized that's so irresponsible. You're not a child. You can't have a tantrum for 2 weeks. You've left a mess. There's people who rely on you. So to also cut down that time, I will be super angry. I'm not going to shout at you. I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to get out of this office right now. Sometimes I go to the
Do something
supermarket.
else.
I like that.
And you walk around the
Yeah, just
aisle.
walk around the supermarket, see things, what's new in the milk aisle. Oh my God, there's so many yogurts these days. Like, it just calms you down. Then I will send the email. Okay, this is what we're going to do after you've calmed down. But
Yeah.
it can't be 2 weeks, and it can't be an explosion in someone's face.
So you
That
have to figure
learn.
out how to cope and how to calm yourself down.
Yeah.
And I think that applies to so many different emotions as well.
Yeah, because for me it's anger that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
But other people, they get sad, they can't function.
Yeah.
I like, it's frustration, it's disappointment, there's so many different ways and different things, and see, everyone's a different personality.
Yeah.
What is going to piss them off? You have a manager who needs you to be there on time. You don't understand the value of time, and you're just going to piss them off to the point where they can't even have the meeting because you were 10 minutes late. So as a late person, know that person, don't do that to them because the whole meeting is done.
Right.
There are small things you have to try to be aware of and pick up on to help you also get through the day. Because who wants to be angry or sad or frustrated,
Yeah.
That emotional roller coaster derails you
Thank
from
you.
being your best self and being what you can do.
And it's a reminder that this journey of life is full of the ups and downs. And sometimes we let ourselves down, and we're also like, okay, I will do this differently next time. I need to do it better next time.
But also
what
do
could
that
I have
quickly.
done differently?
Those ones who stay beating themselves up for 2 weeks.
Yes. Because people who hold grudges for even years, I'm like, how do you even do that?
People who don't greet each other in the office because they had a fight. I'm like, seriously? So for the rest of life, we're just going to pretend you don't talk?
Exactly.
No, that's not okay.
No, I'm the flip. I forget completely, and I come to you like, hi!
And then they're
And
still
I'm like, why are you mad at me? But yeah,
learning to let it go.
emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Because we talk about emotional intelligence, but I think that's a very big part of it, being able to regulate your emotions so you are able to get done whatever you need to
That
do.
you need to do, and it's hard. And I think it's such a big part of life that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they teach kids these things in school from when they're young, how to express your anger, how to express
What
your
are you
sadness. What are you
feeling right
feeling?
now?
Say it. Tell this person
We
how
weren't
they made
allowed
you
to be
feel.
angry.
Stop it.
So now you're angry.
Don't tie
eh?
Sumbusa, smile. Like, I'm so glad things have evolved. because you have to be able to express, because that's another part of workplaces or anything, having those hard conversations.
Yeah.
When you said this, it made me feel this way. When you did this, I felt this way. You have to be able to do that. And other people sweat, they panic, they won't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Let's just pretend everything is okay. Then when they do it again, you're going to explode. It's not, you have to make
you've
life
just done
sustainable.
people who like to sweep things under the rug, never address what
People
the problems
who avoid conflict. The other day I was talking to
are.
someone.
So hard to work with people like that.
They're like, no, you have to avoid conflict. I'm like, no. If you avoid conflict, you're making the whole situation worse for everyone, including yourself.
Yeah.
They're like, but I'm not a confrontational person.
Actually, people say as Ugandans, we are
Generally.
not comfortable with confrontation.
It's
right?
because it's deemed a negative thing. You're now fighting or you're angry. No. You need to be able to have a difficult conversation and move past it.
Yeah.
Calmly. It's possible. It just takes practice. You have to just be intentional.
And you need to do that because how will I understand where you're coming from and what you're
Exactly.
feeling?
That's what
and then
caused
you
the
won't know why
conflict.
I'm angry if we
And
don't.
it compounds. Yeah, but it takes courage. You have to just practice, do it. Once you're forced to do it, then you learn to do it, then you do it better.
Yeah.
And then you're not so scared of it as it happens.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Thank you for always being so real.
I don't know how else to be.
Well, thank you for joining me on this show. I know I have to let you go now, but this was amazing, as always. Chatting
Thanks
with you is
for
always
having me.
fantastic.